This is Organized with OneNote, how to compile and collect your notes using OneNote. Thanks for joining this morning. My name is Wade, and I'll be your guide for the class. In terms of objectives, first, we'll hopefully show you how to understand how OneNote can be used to collect, compile, and organize your notes. You will learn how to insert text, insert tables, add photos, add links to OneNote. It's very versatile. And also understand how you can share and collaborate using OneNote as well. So what is OneNote is probably the first question a lot of you may have if you've never used OneNote and aren't familiar with it. It is a great tool. I forgot to do one thing. Let me just do this very quickly. All right, there we go. And you can think about OneNote as a digital version of our good old paper notebooks that we probably still used to use a whole lot. It uses that same concept in organization. We'll talk about that more in a few minutes. And one nice thing about OneNote is that all of your notes are stored in OneDrive. OneDrive is Microsoft's cloud storage system. So that's sort of what this diagram is showing you. So your notes are all stored up here in the cloud. So and the advantage of that is you can get to your notes from anywhere. If you're sitting there on your laptop and you enter a note, and then you grab your phone and head off to the store, you can grab that note from your phone. If you're at the library later and want to log in on a browser at the library, you can get to your notes. So pretty much you can get to your notes from any device that you have that has access to the internet. This also allows you to share your notes with somebody else. So if you wanted to share your note with a family member, you could be sitting here working on that note. Your family member could be at their house on their computer, but since it's stored in the cloud, you can both be working on it literally at the same time because it's stored in the cloud. And we do have another whole class about how to use OneDrive. So if you're not familiar with OneDrive, that's a good class to dig deeper into the benefits of cloud storage. Let me pause for a second, see if there's any questions so far. All right. So there are similar apps, but there's lots and lots and lots of apps to take notes since it's a very important function that we all do. There are 3 others that are very popular, and we have classes on all 3 of these as well. Google Keep is Google's note-taking tool. Evernote is an independent tool, but it's another very popular note-taking tool. And if you're an Apple person, Apple has its own note. These are the icons for each one. This is Google, this is Evernote, this is Apple Notes. And you don't have to pick one and use it exclusively. I use all 4 of these for various things, for various reasons. But so you don't feel like you have to use one of them exclusively. Some of them do certain things better than the other ones, which is why I typically use several of them.
Wade, if you're set up on a particular platform, like if you're a Windows user, is it better to be in OneNote? Is it more convenient?
It's maybe more convenient, especially if you're using Microsoft, then it becomes even more convenient because it integrates well with the other Microsoft apps and it uses Microsoft's cloud storage. So that is one advantage. So people that are all in Microsoft people would tend to use OneNote. People that are all in Google, if they do Google for everything, they would probably migrate more to Google Keep. If you're an all-in Apple person, Apple Notes is probably what you would use. So it's probably more related to the software family than to the physical device.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So how can you get access to OneNote if you want to try it? So OneNote is a Windows app. And if you have Windows 10 or now Windows 11, you have OneNote. It is included with the operating system since it is a Microsoft product, as we were saying, so you don't even have to do anything. If you have a Windows device, you've already got OneNote. If you have a Mac, you can still get OneNote. It's just an app. So you would go to the App Store and download it, and you can use OneNote on your Mac as well. You do still have to have a Microsoft account. So when you download the app, you would have to create an account if you don't have one. If you've got a Microsoft account, you can log into it. OneNote runs as a browser app as well. I'll demo that. But if you're on a Mac and you haven't downloaded the app, but you've got a browser, you can just log into the browser and access OneNote from your Mac using the browser version. So you don't even have to download the app. And you can also download OneNote's mobile app to your smartphone or tablet. So kind of what I was saying, one nice thing about OneNote is you can get to it from any device you've got, and sometimes several different ways. And let me just quickly demo this. So I mentioned first that Windows is free and included if you have, or OneNote is included with Windows. So if you have Windows, all you have to do is click the Start menu down there, and this is going to look slightly different depending on whether you're on Windows 10 or Windows 11. I'm on Windows 11, but I'll click here, and it brings up all my pinned apps, and OneNote for Windows 10 is a pinned app for me. But if it's not, you can click All Apps, and it will give you a list of all apps. And this from here, it's going to look the same whether you're on 10 or 11. And you just scroll down through that long list until you get to OneNote. Now you notice on my screen, and some of you may see this as well, which is why I'm showing it to you. I've got two OneNotes. This is actually an old version. OneNote for Windows 10 is the most current version. I keep this one for some reasons, but this is the one I use 99% of the time. But if you do happen to have one that doesn't say for Windows 10, that's what that is. It's an older version. But since I want to use the current one, I would just click here, and that will open OneNote for Windows 10. I can't demonstrate this one because I don't have a Mac, but I can show you how to open it in a browser. So this scenario here may be that you're at the library or somewhere where there's a computer, but it doesn't have OneNote on it, and you're not logged into Windows on that computer. You can just open a browser tab and type OneNote.com. Now, you would have to log into your Microsoft account. I'm already no, I haven't logged in here, so I will have to log in. So it'll pop up here. If you've already logged in, it'll just load, but I'm not logged in on this browser, so I'm going to sign in. And I'll have to enter my ID and password. And so now here is OneNote from a browser. I'm going to bring up the one I just had up and show you these. These look very similar. So it shows you the same notebooks. You can do pretty much the same things. They function slightly differently, but for pretty much you can do the same things. I can select a notebook and go into that notebook and get access to all my pages and notes. So we'll go into this later, but I'll leave that one up there. And then you can get to it from your phone or your tablet. I'll show you that one. So here's my iPhone. So it is an iPhone, but I downloaded the Microsoft OneNote app. And when you download it, you have to log into your Microsoft account. And then you can just click on there, and it brings up those same notebooks that we saw. I can open a notebook. If I want to get to that same to-do list we were just looking at, there's my to-do list on my phone. Here's that same to-do list using the Windows app. Which, if I change something here, it'll immediately be reflected on my phone as well. I want to add I need some wiper blades. There it is, popped up on my phone over there immediately as well. So there's Wiper Blades. You could actually see it typing on my phone as I was typing here into the app. Move some things back around here. So questions about how to access OneNote?
So there's 3 ways. Through the internet, through the app on your computer, and through the phone app.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Because if you're on a Mac, you're using an app as well. So built-in Windows from an app or from a browser. Correct.
Yeah.
3 ways. Kind of 4 different scenarios, but this is kind of a special case, but it's a Mac app. All right. So let's talk a little bit about OneNote. I'm going to move this over for now. So the highest level is the notebook, and it's broken into levels. I'll show you that in just a minute. But the notebook level is like a physical notebook. And you can have different notebooks for different things, like you could have a work notebook, a personal notebook, a family notebook, whatever you want to have. Each notebook is then divided into sections, and the sections in your OneNote notebook look and function just like the sections in your paper notebook. It identifies sections. And then you have pages within sections, just like you have physical pages in your physical notebook. I think that's one reason why OneNote is easy for most people to understand, because it works just like a physical notebook does in terms of definitions. So let's create a new notebook, and I'm going to narrow this down so it may be a little hard to read, but hopefully you can still read this as well as seeing my OneNote. I'm going to use the Windows app. That's the one that I like, and it fits here well. But again, you could use any of them and do basically the same thing. So the first level is your notebooks, and this is meant to look like this. So here's all my physical notebooks on my shelf. Here's all my OneNote notebooks here on my shelf. So I can click here and it'll show me what's on my shelf. It shows me the one that I've got open right now, which is the OneNote class. But if I wanted to go up to my GetSetUp general notebook, I can click there. It opens that notebook. If I want to look at my Wade's personal notebook, I can go to that one. So that's the top level. Those are your notebooks, and that's how you access them, by just clicking right here beside the icon of your notebooks up on your shelf. So once you've opened a notebook, the next level is the sections. So that's like those tabs in your physical notebook. I've got several tabs here, and you can see it actually uses something that looks like a tab on a physical notebook. If I want to add a new section, a new tab, if you will, I can just click down here at the bottom where it says Add Section. I can give it a name. 39. And so now I've got a tab. This says OneNote class for 39. You can change the size of these if you want to be able to see the whole thing instead of getting the ... So now I've got a tab, just as if I put a tab in my notebook. There's nothing in there yet. I need to add pages. It does put one blank page in there so I can get started. And that's what this is, where it has this one untitled page. I can give it a title. And whatever I enter here at the top is the title. So I'll call that contacts, and it copies that over to here. So now I've got a page where I can start entering things.
Wade, so the sections are like separate notebooks, and the pages are pages within those notebooks.
No, so there's different notebooks here. So this is the notebook level. When you open a notebook, by clicking on it, these are the sections in that notebook. Let me go back to my other picture.
Okay. Okay,
They're
thank
like,
you.
These are the sections. See these little tabs here? They look like these little tabs there.
Okay, gotcha.
So those
Thank
are
you.
the sections. And then inside each section, you've got your pages.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Wait, each of those sections, though, are your own creation, correct? So if we don't have any sections set up, we should not see anything.
Correct. I think if you create a new, I think it has a blank one here, just like it had a blank page for me.
Okay.
Just 1 second here. Okay. All right. So now I'm ready to start putting information in my notebook on this page. So I'm in my contacts page, in my OneNote class section, in my OneNote class notebook, just to kind of go over that breakdown again. So I click here to start typing something, and maybe I want to first list contacts for plumbers. So I'll maybe put plumbers, and when I start to list them, I may want that to be a bulleted list. So I can click here and I just put in the information and his phone number. And it does have spell check, which is handy because I misspell a lot. And then I just keep adding more plumbers. You can see there's a little box here around what I typed, and that's called a container. And one thing else you can do, and I'm going to do it here, is I don't really need to see all this stuff anymore. I know where I am now. I can click here and it'll collapse those two levels so I can see what I'm typing easier. If I need to see it again, I just click here and it takes me back and shows me my notebook and my section. But I'm going to collapse that for now, make this a little easier for you to see. So this is a container. And you can just have one container and kind of ignore the fact that they exist, but containers can come in handy because maybe I also want to put in names for electricians. So I'm going to click over here and start typing electricians. And we're going to do the same thing. I'll make it a bulleted list and Easy Electric. Give them a number. So you can see this is in a separate container. So I've now got two containers. Now the advantage of containers and what they let you do is right now I've got it set up so I've got two columns. I got plumbers in one column and electricians in another column. But maybe I want to have them lined up above and below each other. I can do that. If I want to change the order that they're in, I can just move these containers around and put the electricians first and the plumbers next. You can change the size of the containers. So if I want to make it more narrow, I could do that, or make it wider in case I've got a lot of text to make sure everything fits. So it's just a way to organize things on your page. And you have to have one container. When you start typing, it's going to create a container. You can have just one huge container with everything in there. That's fine as well. Questions about containers, though?
I bet you can get rid of one.
You certainly can. So if I wanted to get rid of it, I could delete that container and everything in it.
Okay, and you've taught us that when we're in OneDrive or OneNote, and we delete something, it's dead, gone, buried, off in the afterlife. Is that
not in OneNote. OneNote, I can say, oops, and put it back.
I'll be darned. Oh, it's got it right up there. Woohoo!
So there's my favorite command. Yes, I do that one a lot. So anytime you type something, you can undo it.
How did we ever live without that? Wish I had it in my house.
Yeah, lots of things in my life I wish I had an undo button. But OneNote does. Yeah,
right
thanks
next
for bringing that one
to
out there, Nancy.
Yeah. So but if you did delete it and really didn't want it anymore, it's gone.
Because
it's
good. I
It's like
don't know if there
one
is
try.
like a, yeah. I'm not positive about that. I think so. If I just delete this and I don't come back and undo it, it's deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that undo while you're still in here in that session, but there's not like a trash can where things go into a trash can where you can
That's
go in
right.
and get it out of the trash can. The only way to get it back that I'm aware of, and I always qualify it because there's lots of features and I don't pretend to know every single feature, but this is the easy way to get it back.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of junk that I did years ago that keeps showing up. I want to get rid of it. Yeah.
Okay. And you can delete at any level. I can delete a section just by right clicking and delete that section, or I can delete an entire notebook. So you can delete at any levels in that hierarchy.
Hey, Wade. Is there a limit of how many notebooks you can have?
If there is, it's something that's so large, it's not really probably relevant. You can, I think for all practical purposes, no. I mean, if you tried to put 2,000 or something, I don't know.
No. I mean, you can go up to 50, I guess.
Probably so. I've never gone that high, but I've never hit the limit if there is one. And since it's stored in the cloud, it probably can get as big as you want it to be, because it's not like you'll run out of storage space on your laptop or anything.
Why do you use this as opposed to a zillion other things?
Well, like I said, I use multiple different ones, but this is my primary go-to one. And to me, it's just more intuitive and it's easier to manipulate. Now, that may be because I've been a Microsoft person since Microsoft first came in business. So it works consistently with other Microsoft products.
Sure.
Again, someone that's has always had Apples and never owned a Microsoft computer may think that Apple Notes makes more sense than this does. I think it's kind of which one makes more sense to the person.
Did you ever use Color Note?
I never used that one. I know it exists, but I've never used that one.
What if I can get those notes into this one?
Probably so. So we'll show you some things now. And I don't have a list of that. There's some in terms that there's some things you can do in one and you can't do in the other. I'm sure there are, but I would say 80% is the same. I could keep these same contact lists in any of those other tools just as easily, or could contain it. I think it's really more just a preference of how it works and which one makes sense to you. And so let's do some other things here, to show you some other things that you can do with OneNote, which even if they're not unique, I think that they are easy to use and why I like OneNote. I'm going to add another page because I've got my contacts page now. I want to do something else. So I'm going to just click add page. And I've got a new page now. And I'm going to call this to-do list. Okay, yes, it wants me to put a space there, fine. And I click here and it's going to create a container. But what I want to do is to insert a table. And to do that, I just come up here to insert and say I want a table. And then I basically just color in what size I want that table to be. So I'm going to start with a 4x4 table. So I just click down in the bottom right cell of that table, and there's my 4x4 table. Again, I'm going to drop that side to make it easier for you to see. And this is going to be my to-do list. So I'm going to start out by saying, what's the priority of this item? What is the due date? What is the task itself? And then maybe add some notes about it. So that basically sets up my to-do list. So then I can start entering my items. I can say this is a priority. It's due on 3/11. This is just, and I can put whatever the task is. And if I need to add some additional notes, I can enter more. I can enter more information about the task. And you can see
really
that
very similar to doing tag, what do you call this thing? An insert of a graph or chart in Word. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works very similar to Microsoft Word. Again, that's kind of why if you're all in Microsoft person, a lot of these things feel very comfortable. You notice that the column sizes adjusted automatically as I was typing. I can go back and change it. If I want to force it to wrap, it will automatically wrap as I change the sizes. I can change the size of just this column, leave this one what it is. So you can adjust the sizes of the columns.
Look up there by your name. See where it says Wade Yarbrough? There's a thing going around it. Yeah, what's that?
It's syncing to my cloud. So it's sending that to OneDrive. So everything I do real time, it sends it to, and there it's checked saying,
and
okay.
Then once you calm down, it calms down and just has the cloud. Neat.
Yep. So it tells me now everything I've typed is safe. It's stored in the cloud. And while it's spinning,
they had that on the other.
While it's spinning, if my computer died, it might not all go there. But yeah, that tells me everything's there. I'm backed up and safe. If I wanted to add another row, let's say I've got all my tasks in here and I need to add something else, I can just click on where I want it to go and right click and come down here to table. And I can insert a row above where I clicked or insert a row before where I clicked, below where I clicked. And now I've got another line. You can actually do multiple lines at a time. If I pick 3 of them and right click, come down here to table and say, now it's inserted 3 at a time instead of 1 at a time. So if you're trying to fill it up, that's a little faster. As I'm looking at this, I see I don't have any way to mark that I've done something. So maybe I want to add a column that I can mark off that it's done. Works the same way. I click on a cell, right click, come down to table. This time I want to insert a column, and you look at the little icon, it shows you what it's doing. It's showing you a row there. It's showing a column here, and I can insert a column to the left or to the right of the one I clicked in. I'll insert it to the left. And then maybe I label this done and I put an X in there when I've done something, as a for instance. So easy to manipulate the tables, and tables are really useful, especially for things like to-do lists. There's lots of other things you can use tables for, but OneNote is great for to-do lists.
Well, you've already done it. Why don't you just delete it?
You could. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you. You can do it any way you want to do it. If I'm done with it and I don't want to see it anymore, I could delete it. Exactly. I'm going to open it up and go up to one that I've already done some work on. And we'll do a little bit more up here with this one. And one thing I did, since we're talking about how to mark things as done, with this one, I put a little check mark here where if I've done something, I can just check it off. So I can still see what I've done if I want to keep up with it. And then later, if I want to delete it, I can just right click and go down to table and delete that row to go back to what John was saying, and that would delete it out of my table. I can say, and okay. And we get to my undo button and put it back. There's my undo. So I'm going to put it back. Nancy's favorite command. Let me show you how I did that before we move on. I'll come back down to the one we were playing with down here. So instead of having the done column, and I can delete that the same way, I can say table and delete column. Get rid of that column. And to put that little check mark, I can just come up here to this icon. And it's got lots of different things you can use, but one of them is a little to-do check mark. So I can put that in each one of the rows. So when I've done something, I can check it off and toggle it back and forth. Other things you can do, a lot of students use OneNote to take all their classes, or if you're working or in a class, a GetSetUp class, taking notes. It's real easy to take notes in here, but what you can do with these is if there's something here that's really important and you want to make sure you remember that, you can click into here and say that's important, and it'll put a little important flag. If this is something I didn't understand what the guide was saying and I want to ask a question about it, I want to come back to it later, I can put a question mark there, meaning, I got a question about this. So in my text here where I'm taking notes, these are ways to annotate your notes very easily with other things you want to do. Remember it for later. I need to find a definition for that, etc. I'll go back up.
Wow, you can really do a lot with this, huh?
I think so. It's now, like most to-do lists, you might want to sort this, and you can do that. To do that, you've got to come up here to this table tab and click on it. And then over here on the right, it has an A to Z. So I can say sort it alphabetically or reverse alphabetically. So I clicked on sort alphabetically and it sorted it by the column I had clicked in. You can see my cursor clicking right there. And it's now sorted it alphabetically. Maybe I want to sort it by to-do date in reverse order, since it looks like it's already in order, coincidentally, but just to show you can sort by any column.
This really is more comprehensive and easier, I think, than Keep.
I think so personally, but I will admit unabashedly that I am biased.
But you taught us Keep too, so.
Actually, Lee teaches the Keep class.
Oh, so. Somebody did. Okay.
Yeah, Lee teaches that one.
We give you credit for a lot.
Just a quick aside, this is my work. This is what I use every day here. And I've got to-do lists for things I need to do. I keep my personal to-do lists in there as well. I've got notes about all the classes I teach. And I use those flags, you can see. So it is the one I use primarily every day for everything I'm trying to keep track of. All right, so questions about tables before I move on. Oh, one other thing here I just noticed on the one up here. If I wanted to put a header up there, like I've got this one highlighted to make it clear that this is a header, you can do that as well. You can just select those cells, and you've got to have table clicked up here, and then come over here to the paint bucket and just tell it what color you want to paint it. And so now I've painted it a light green. I think I've done all of those things. Yep. So let's go to some other stuff here. We're going to insert information. So I'm going to add another page. And lots of different things you can insert. I just showed you how to insert a table. In fact, that was a type of an insertion. I'll come back up here and I can also insert, let me see, insert a file. So that's right here. And so I can just click on that insert a file. And since I'm in Windows, it takes me to File Explorer, where I can go down and find what I want to insert here. Let me just go to my downloads folder and find something that makes sense to insert. You know what that is? Well, let's start with, I was trying to find a PDF. We'll just insert a Word document. There's a Word document. We'll use that instead. So I can open that. And I've got three options. I can upload to OneDrive and insert a link in my OneNote. We'll do that one first since it's on top. So it inserts a link here. So if I click on this, it'll open the document so I can edit it, but it also shows me what's in that document. I'm going to come over here. Let's come down below it and open another tab, another container. And let's do the same thing again. I'm going to insert a file and I'm going to come down and use the same one so you can kind of see the differences. So here's that same file. I'm going to say open. And this time we're going to pick insert as an attachment. So in this case, instead of here, it uploaded that document to OneDrive in my OneNote folder and just put a link to it. Here it's going to actually insert the attachment into OneDrive. One of the advantages, well, one advantage of doing it this way, it's smaller. It doesn't take up all this space, but it also, since it's now here, if I am offline, so I can still open offline even if my internet is not working or I'm somewhere where I don't have access to the internet, I can still open this and work on it since it's a Microsoft document and I can just open it in Microsoft Word on my device. If I don't have a link to the internet, I can't get to this one because that one is in my cloud. So that might be one reason you might want to attach instead of inserting a link. The good thing about inserting a link, it doesn't take up as much space. If this was a huge file, I would now have that huge file in here. So it does take up more storage space. Now, if you got Microsoft 365, you've got a terabyte of data, so you're not too worried about taking up space, but one of the considerations. Let me open another container here and show you the third option. So we'll go into File again, and we'll grab that same file again. Where was it? I can't find it. Let's open. Actually, I'll do a PDF for this one anyway, since now here's some PDFs. So here's a PDF. I'll open that. And insert as a printout. And so what that does, pretty much what the name suggests, it actually inserts that whole PDF into my note. It includes a link to the PDF, so I can open it in a browser if I wanted to, but it actually is like a printout. It prints it out and puts that whole thing, so I don't have to open it. I've got that entire PDF in my OneNote that I can just scroll through it and read it, which I could do offline.
Well, once that's in there, can you change it back to one of the other formats?
You could delete it.
Oh, you got to delete it and do it over. Okay.
Yeah. Now I still got, in this case, I still got the link, so I could still open that, and it opened it on my other monitor over here, but it does open that where you can see it. I'm not sure how to bring that over. Hang on. There. So it opened it as a PDF. When I clicked on it, it just put it on my other monitor. So if you don't want that printout part, you can delete that part and keep it. I think you can do the same thing with this one as well. If you don't want all this part down here, you can delete that part and just keep the link. I can drag these containers around again, organize it however I want to organize it. So yeah, lots of flexibility.
And another reason when we name a file, to really name the file.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's inserting files.
Wade, I have a question.
Sure.
It's off topic, so I'm asking if you could just allow time at the end, maybe. But I use OneNote, or I use Notes in Mac. Where I get most confused is the hierarchy. And so I started to create a new notebook in OneNote. And if you could go over the hierarchy again of notebooks and pages and things at some point, just how that works.
Yeah, some people, other people may have the same question. It only takes 2 seconds. So the top level is the notebook. And again, the analogy is this is my shelf up there above my desk where I've got all these books. I grab the one I want to look at. So if I want to open this notebook and read it or put something in it, I click there. These are the tabs, just like in a 3-ring binder. These are the different tabs I've got. And within each tab, it has all the pages.
And how did you create those tabs?
Down here at the bottom right here where it says add section or add page.
But mine says add notebook. So, I see. So now I clicked on
If I want to add a new notebook, that's where I put a new notebook up there on my shelf.
Okay. And then it's add page at the bottom.
Yep. So add notebook. And then within notebook, you've got sections and pages.
Okay. I'm sorry. At the beginning, I had something I had to do.
Okay.
But I get it now. Thank you.
Some other people may be confused. I think the analogy is good, but sometimes how you implement the analogy can be a little confusing. All right.
Yeah. And I just didn't see those words at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait for your PDF file. Can you explain to me if you were offline, can you still pull up that information as well or no?
Yeah, this one is attached. So that PDF is in there. I'm pretty sure.
So it is visible if you need to pull it offline.
I'm 90% sure. I'm not positive. I've never tried it, but I think that it is physically there. Whereas this one is a link. This one's not there for sure. This one is there for sure. And I'm 90% sure that one is as well, because it looks like an attachment, just like this one does.
Okay, thank you.
Will this OneNote sync to all your other devices?
Yep.
Including Windows cell phone?
Yep, if you download the app.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. All right, so let's cover a few more things. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time here, but great questions. And I think hopefully you're getting the idea. So I'm going to add another page here, and we're going to talk about pictures. So I can come down here and start a container, and you probably guess I can come up here to insert and go over to pictures. And I've got several options again. I can insert a picture from a file that I can access from this device. What I can access depends on whether I'm on my laptop computer, my Kindle Fire, or my iPhone. But if I say from file, it takes me to my file finder for that device. I go find my pictures. They could be on the device. It could be in a cloud drive I can access from my device. And I can grab a picture. Click on the picture. You can click on more than one if you want to and say open. And it now brings in that picture. I can resize it like you can with pictures most places. I can, of course, add text around the picture. So there's one picture. I'll make it a little bit smaller. So I got another container that I'm started down there. So I can go back up to pictures again. So just like files, you've got several options. If your device has a camera, then you can actually take a picture and it'll put it there. My laptop doesn't have a camera, but I can pull something from online. So if I click here, it actually takes me over to here where I can search on the internet for pictures. And so since this is a picture of my dog, I'll look for more dog pictures. So I click dogs and hit enter, and it shows me dog pictures from the internet. So maybe I'm writing an essay about breeds of dogs and I want to find different type dog pictures. I can just click on that picture. It brings that one in. I can resize that one and I can write about this type of dog. Whatever type of dog that is, and I can go grab another one. You could search for a dog by name too. And it's just going to show me pictures of Bijans. So Now, I'm not positive if these have been approved in terms of copyrights. They're certainly acceptable for personal use. If I was putting this in something I was going to then sell, you would probably want to make sure that these images aren't copyright protected. Oh, there's a privacy statement down here, which probably tells me that. I don't think, I think that's something else. So, but that's ways you can get pictures to add to your any of your pages. Now you can also, let me come down here. I'm going to click here to get rid of this and just come back to here. I'm going to start another page here. You can insert links to websites. I do that. I got some examples back there. Let me pause for a second and kind of show you these to give you some other ideas of things you might want to do. So like there's a to-do list, and this is all fictional things I just put together. We kind of talked about having your contacts with a different container for each type of contact. You could do things like recipes. And in this case, this is a recipe. I put a picture of the recipe, but I have a link to the recipe as well. So if I click this link, it's going to open in my browser and will take me to that recipe. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. This is I do this a lot where I just have it's a tab with things that I've come across on the internet that I want to look at later. You can save links to websites that way. You can have gift ideas where you could take a picture and then put a link below it. So lots of different reasons how and why you might want to include links. So if I want to include a link, and I've already got this one, but just to save time, I can say I have a link for recipes. So I can type what the link is to. Oops. And here I want to insert a link. So I say insert a link. Then I need to go to the website I want to put there and copy that website. And so now I've got a link that will take me to that page. Now you can just copy the link itself, the raw link, Control C, and then Control V is what I'm doing. You can, and it does the same thing. It's just, kind of ugly. So by putting a name there, instead I could say Microsoft privacy statement. So I know what that link is. Select the text, click here to insert the link. Click that same address here. And now this link and this link both take me to this page. This one is just a little easier to tell what that is. But that's how you can put links to web pages in there. Questions on that one? I'll show you a couple other things here. I'm gonna do one other thing and then we're gonna have to, we're just about to run out of time, but these are probably one of the more common ones too. Let me just quickly show you how to do videos. And you probably can guess, you come up here to insert, and here you can put an online video. And so you first would need to go and find the video that you want to put there. Let's go to YouTube real quick. And find a video that I want. Whether you're building. So I grab that link and put it here. And say, okay. And so it put a link to that video, I could click here and actually go back to that link, or I could click here and play that video in my OneNote without ever leaving my OneNote. Okay, so got a couple other things I want to show you quickly, and hopefully we'll have a couple of minutes here. Let me see if I have time to do this. This is important too. You can move things around. This is pretty quick and simple, but maybe not intuitive that you'd want to do that. So if you can move, if I wanted to move this to a different section, I can right click on it and I can move or copy. And doesn't make sense maybe, but I'll put it under gift ideas. And so I can move that to gift ideas, or I could make a copy of it and put a copy under gift ideas. I'm going to just move the entire sheet, makes it a little easier to see. So that video sheet has been taken out of OneNote and it's been put into gift ideas. Again, I opened up that physical notebook. I grabbed a page, I took it out of one tab, put it in another tab, is what I'm doing here for the paper and pencil analogy. If I say, uh-oh, I can take it out of here, put it back down here where it was, open the notebook, take it out, put it back down here, moved it under a different tab. So you can move pages from tab to tab, just like you can with a physical notebook. I can move an entire tab or section and put it in a different notebook. So I've got this vacation sites we didn't look at, but those are different vacation sites. And maybe I want to put these in a different notebook. I can right click, move or copy. And I want to put that in my vacation notebook. I've not got another whole notebook with just vacation stuff. So I'll click here. This time I'm going to copy. So I'm going to leave it in my class notebook, but put a copy in my vacation notebook. So it's still here. But if I go up to my vacations notebook, hopefully it's there. And there it is. There's that same vacation sites. Again, same thing as taking that tab and all the sheets out of one notebook, putting it in another physical notebook. And the last thing.
Hey, Wade.
Yes.
Yeah, before you close up the class, I just have a question about organizing email messages. You show links to files, which is great, to websites. But say I wanted to create a database of email messages and then link each of those email messages into either another section of the notebook, a different notebook, or even into Microsoft Word. Is there a way to do that, like copy paste, I guess, and then you have the name of the email would be at the top, would be the link that you could point to and bring over to, like I said, Word or another section of the notebook? Is that possible?
I don't know of any way to do it other than just what you said. You can copy and paste it, but then it would just be pasted text. I don't know any way to maintain a link back to the email it came from.
No, just that, but when you copy that email in, up at the top, it'd be in a page, right? So it'd be in a page.
It'd be in a page.
Right. And then you put a title at the top or a label or whatever, right? Like Grand Canyon is what you're showing right now. Is that Grand Canyon, is that for instance, that example, that could be a title of an email message. Can that be a link that you can put into, say, Word or somewhere else?
Not that I know of.
You can't point to it?
I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying I don't know how to do it if you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. There's no label
I don't know
or
a way
link.
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I've never seen done, but I won't say it's impossible. I just have to say I've never seen it and I don't know how to do it. Let me show you one other thing really quick that I did want to show you, though, is that we talked about one of the things you can do since it's stored in the cloud is you can share your notebook with other people. And that's, if you do Microsoft, it works the same way. I can click here to share. So maybe I want all my family members to look at this and help decide where we want to go on vacation. I can just send an email to whoever I want to send this to. And I say, what can she do? Can she just view or can she edit? And hit share. And I've now shared it with Camdy Yarber at Hotmail. I can change her privileges from here at any point. I can change her to view only, or I can stop sharing with her. So that's all it takes to be able to share. But since we're sharing and she can edit it, she can add vacation dates that she thinks are good here. She can add vacation sites that she finds and put them in my notebook.
And anything she changes is going to be changed on the document too.
Yep. So, right.
Wow.
So you want to be careful who you're sharing with, because if she wanted to delete something I'd put in there, she can delete it. She has full edit privileges in this notebook.
That's okay. A wife can have that.
There you go. All right. I've run over already, but that was the last thing I did want to show you.